Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to the first video for Channel 3 No Drafts. So, not an exciting open. I'm really underwhelmed by this Marwin. It is legendary, but the green legendary sorcery is the worst out of all of them. It's actually completely unplayable. Kind of a weak pack. I think it's between like Ansara's Wings, which could be good if you're going like blue-white with hexproof turtle, or a Death Bloom Thallid. All right, I'll speculate on Sarah's Wings. This is a card that can take over a game. It's something that your opponent absolutely needs to deal with. Worst case scenario, if opponent has a lot of bounce, we can bring it in out of the sideboard, and it does make the creature legendary, so that's kind of minor upside, I guess. Okay, so here I think I want to stay on color and take a Blessed Light. Kazaroff is good, but at 7 mana, it's very slow. It can take over a game on its own, but I'd rather have Blessed Lights, just a Blessed Light. We're going to continue cutting white, and Blessed Light deals with a card like Kazaroff at a 2 mana premium. And it's also very important, if you're going up against something that you absolutely must deal with, like unlike a Daragaz, right? You can't. Killing a Daragaz is not good enough. You need to be able to get them off the board. So the 2 cards that can deal with that are like Settle the Score and Blessed Light. So happy to pick up a Blessed Light. And the reason why we're making print screens is to make sure we can later on go back and see what's flowing. I actually haven't seen any drafters do it, and I think it's almost like I think it's just a kind of a low-hanging fruit, I guess you could say. It's very straightforward. It doesn't require much work. You're not losing a lot of time once you get the print screen all tab going, and later on it can provide you a lot of information. So here I think it's between a Blood Tallow Candle and a Pegasus Courser, but Pegasus Courser is just so good. I think I'm going to take it here over the removal. If this is anything else, like let's say this was I don't know, like Avant Trapper, right? It's another white 3-drop. I would snap pick Blood Tallow Candle over that. But Pegasus Courser, it's a critical component of any deck that's trying to be aggro. And I like cutting white just to send a clear signal to the player on our left, so that they understand that white is not open. All right. I think it's a Skittering Surveyor here. I am tempted to kind of speculate on the Spore Crown Thallid, but I mean, we haven't seen, and again, this is where print screens can help. We've seen the Death Bloom Thallid, nothing from the Saproling archetype in pack 2, and nothing in pack 3. So I think it's just a Skittering Surveyor. This often is the difference, at least for me, this has often been the difference between getting a trophy and not getting a trophy in a draft. It smooths out your draws. It's a solid card. It's very good. And it helps you splash. There's a lot of really good 2-color uncommon legendary creatures with very good abilities. And being able, having the flexibility to play them, I feel is very important. So some decisions here. Sylvan Awakening is more of like a sideboard card for me in matchups where there's a board stall and you need to get through like the last few points of damage. I think it's like between a Skin Witch, Radiating Lightning. I guess we can also take a Joyous Familiar to continue staying open. But I think Skin Witch is good enough, and I like white-black. So I can speculate on black at this time. All right, Dalton's Bodyguard, that's perfectly fine. Did I paste this? I did. Okay. So Dalton's Bodyguard is good with Ansar's Wings because whatever creature we enchant, we can then draw a Bodyguard to protect it. And it's almost like it's not full hexproof because you're not protected against exile effects, but it makes your enchanted creature less vulnerable to removal, so I'm happy to take it. I think this card actually is designed for like the red, for the red-white archetype for the most part, because it's the archetype that has the most, I guess, enchantments and auras. Complete blank here, unfortunately. There's literally nothing we want. I'm comfortable just completely passing this pack. I mean, we could take an Arcane Flight if we already have an On Sarah's Wings, and Atlanta's Bodyguard. And if we want to go the enchantment route, get over the top, we could, you know, I'm moving it to the sideboard. This is not a card I really want to play. I mean, the power difference between On Sarah's Wings and Arcane Flight is very significant. And honestly, this only works with Cold Snapper, I think. It's, put it this way, it most consistently works with Cold Snapper. They may as well have put a turtle on the art instead of a flying kitty. So very happy to pick up a lead Gideon's Reproach. This solidifies us into white. It means that white is just wide open. Adamant Will, solid card for white. Cabal Paladin, we only have 2 historic cards, but this is great with like a Jousting Lance if we can get it. And I'm happy taking it here. All right, I'll take another Adamant Will. Yeah, Chainer's Torment is just awful. It's more of like a sideboard card in case you know your opponent is not playing removal. And if you feel that it's going to be like a drawn-out game where your life is not under threat, and you just want like a big dumb creature for whatever reason. But I think like 9 times out of 10, it's just not even decent. It's just awful. Yeah, Feral Abomination we could board in. I found that like these big 6 drops, they work best in green base deck with Lawnmower Elves, where you can drop them earlier and start really threatening your opponent. All right. So second Blessed Light, or we can speculate on like a Rona. We did see the blue was kind of open late. Yeah, there's like a Snapper. Nothing. There's Drake. I mean, these were earlier picks. It felt like blue was kind of open. We can kind of speculate on blue, but that means you would have to drop black. I mean, we do have a Skittering Surveyor, so I don't mind taking something like a Rona. Yeah, this is the good example of a multicolor legendary card that I was talking about. The thing about like Blessed Light and the red equivalent 5-drop that destroys an artifact or deals 5 is there's some matchups where they're useless if you're going up against tokens. But given that I only have 1, I will take a second one. You know, if I had more removal at this point, like let's say if I had like an Eviscerate, I would consider taking a Rona, but given that I'm very light on my removal suite, after pack 1, I want to make sure I have some solid removal that I can rely upon. All right, so here I think it's kind of a no-brainer Knight of Malice. It works well with Pegasus Courser. It lets us start getting damage in very early on, so I'm happy to pick it up here. And we're hoping that Witch is going to be a 6-drop. All right, I mean, some picks, they speak for themselves, and an Eviscerate is excellent. We'll take an Eviscerate. All right, another Blessed Light or Skin Witch. Sanctum Spirit, we don't have too much Historic going, so I don't think this is going to work in our deck. The second Skin Witch gets worse in your deck, and I don't mind having a third Blessed Light. With this type of setup, we want to make sure that we have early aggressive plays to keep getting damage through. And you know, if after like, all right, so let's say we get down like a Dauntless Bodyguard, Knight of Malice, or even like, okay, skip turn 2, get down a Pegasus Courser, dealing 3 a turn, and then just removing anything that our opponents play to make sure that we can continue getting damage through, that's pretty good. So here it's between a Blood Tallow Candle and this Baird. Now, Baird can be quite annoying, and given that we have a Pegasus Courser, it means that we can continue, and we have an Onsara's Wings, it means that we can continue attacking in the air. And with 3 Blessed Lights, I don't think we're desperate for a Blood Tallow Candle. And also, Baird can go well if we get like Yawgmoth's Will in pack 3, because it is a legendary card that can trigger it. And we have 2 legendary creatures already with Onsara's Wings and a Baird, so happy to pick that up. Here, I think we're going to splash like a Wild Onslaught. I see no reason not to. We only have 8 creatures, but if we can get like the 2/3 that makes 1/1s, this could be a good splash for us. So happy picking up a Wild Onslaught. Excellent Benelish Marshal. I've actually never been able to play with this card, but given that it's pick, what is it, pick 6? Yeah, this is definitely getting reserved. All right. Yeah, definitely snapping Benelish Marshal over here. We're heavy white, so we could definitely play it. I'm not worried about being able to drop them on like turn 4, maybe even turn 3. I think I'm going to take a Serra Disciple here. If we can get Quende, we'll have 2 creatures with first strike that essentially become double strikers. And with Pegasus Courser, well, Pegasus Courser doesn't help Serra Disciple, but in general, I think this card could work. I'm not crazy about anything else in the pack, but I am very happy to take a Memorial to Glory. Again, with Wild Onslaught later on in the game, if board stalls out, it's something that could work. So, Benelish Honor Guard, yes, I think usually I would say that 2 drops are almost useless in this format, but with 3 Blessed Lights and Eviscerate, early plays, this is like, we're drafting a very aggressive white-black deck with a Benelish Marshal. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind picking this up here. Cabal Paladin's is not looking good in our deck. And there's actually a remote chance that we can end up mono white. Just given how much white is flowing, we may end up mono 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 15. So we would need like, yeah, we can end up almost mono. Oh God, yes. We are definitely in the right color. You know, this is a payoff, I think, from pack 1 where we cut white aggressively. And for example, if you go back to the pick where we picked the Pegasus Courser over the candle, you know, little picks like that, they can pay off in the long run and get you very late Pegasus Coursers like this. So right now our deck is looking very good. I have a charge. Okay, maybe there's a world in which I play Demonic Vigor. Another Adamant Will, sure. I don't think I'm going to run 3. I think 2 is more than enough. But I'm a bit concerned that this... I guess Cabal Paladin works with 2 Coursers, but what you really need to make him shine is a Jousting Lance. And I found the Jousting Lances will go well into like virtually any deck. Blue is probably the color where it's the most awkward, because you're already paying like a premium for flyers. Icy Manipulator, you say? Artifact, creature, or land. So if your opponent's mana screwed, you could screw them even more. by tapping a land during the upkeep phase. Yeah, this is just a ridiculously overpowered card for limited. I think Icy Manipulator at the uncommon slot is one of the reasons why there's so much enchantment and artifact hate. You have Broken Bonds at common. You have Blessed Light. Sorry, not Blessed Light. God, I forgot. It's the 3 mana white one that gains you 4. This card is just stupid. With a Lawnmower Elf, this card is just stupid, but we're going to take a Vicious Offering. We have ways of dealing with late plays. In other words, we have good removal later on in the game with an Eviscerate and 3 Blessed Lights, but we don't really have anything to deal efficiently with, Spore Crown Thalids, or similar early plays that we just need to deal with. So I think we can cut a Feral Abomination. I don't think this is what our deck is trying to do. All right, so we could also consider splashing 3/3 Flash Flyer instead of a Wild Onslaught. We're not really going wide. We only have 11 creatures, but there's also Sergeant at Arms in here. Sergeant at Arms works really well with Banalish Marshal, if we can kick it. Geez, this is a tough pick. I think the more disciplined pick is a Sergeant at Arms. Yeah, like we could cut a Sarah Disciple. It's not doing much. We don't have too much historic. This is good when you have, like, I don't know, at least 6, 7, which we're far from. I think the more disciplined pick is a Sergeant at Arms, given the way that our deck is lining up. All right, from this pack, I will take a Radiating Lightning, and I would actually consider splashing it off Skittering Surveyor in case I'm going up against a Sapperling deck. I've often found situations where I wish I had this card, and it would have been the difference between, winning and losing that game. So again, 11 creatures. We want to go wide with Banalish Marshal, Wild Onslaught. It's really between, like, okay, I think we're good in the removal suite. We don't have any historic payoffs except Cabal Paladin, so I don't feel like urge to take Blood Candle. It does work well with Caligo Skinwedge because often your opponents will send back their best creatures. I think we need a Sergeant at Arms. With the Banalish Marshal, we want to make sure we have enough creatures to get the payoff. And yeah, I mean, we can kick this on turn 6. Maybe we can kick both of them. Knight of Grace, sure. It's an upgrade from, no, it's not an upgrade from Gideon's Reproach. Get back in there. It's an upgrade from Banalish Honor Guard, which I now don't need to play. I am happy playing Urgaros. We're not heavy on black, but we should be able to find 2 sources of black mana late. So I think as this draft is wrapping up, we're getting another Sergeant at Arms. I think we're definitely in the right colors. I think we drafted our seat well. And in terms of what else, I don't see myself playing a Tiana. I'll take another Sergeant at Arms. I'm not going to play him. I already need to make a cut. Dub. I'm more likely to play Dub if there's a situation where I feel like I really need to win super fast. But it's unlikely that I'm going to play it. Gay Elephant that I'm not going to play. Soul Salvage that I probably also not going to play. All right. I'll take the Antiquities reprint. So now we need to consider one cut. What is the worst card in our deck? I guess we could cut one Adamant Will. I definitely don't want to cut a creature. All right, how many triggers do we have for Sarah Disciple? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's not good enough. I think a third Sergeant at Arms is kind of overkill. We could consider bringing a third Sergeant at Arms in over a Cabal Paladin. Cabal Paladin is looking, on the one hand, like it's good with the Pegasus coursers, but we don't have, like, yeah, I think we counted 6. Let's just double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5, right? 6 is wishful thinking. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 historic triggers doesn't seem like we're going to get there. I think something like this is better. Yeah, this seems reasonable to me. Let's try it. So the goal with this deck is just kill our opponent as fast as possible. Let's add some basic lands. All right, I'm going to need more than 4. Definitely more than 4 swamps. I think we can go 9, 6. We do want a lot of white for Benelish Marshall, so I don't want to go lower than 10 with the Memorial to Glory. And we could probably even get away with this, because we don't need blue until, sorry, we don't need black, with the exception of like Knight of Malice and Vicious Offering, until really like turn 5, right? And we should be able to find black mana by turn 5. With a Skittering Surveyor especially, I think we're going to win more games where we can get down Benalish Marshall as opposed on turn 3 consistently, as opposed to where we'll be able to play these 3 drops. So let's run it like this. I do think we need 17 lands because of all this top end with 3 Sergeant at Arms that we want to kick for full value with, like, and we also want to be able to kick the Wild Onslaught with 8 mana. So yeah, let's save it and run it, and let's see how this deck does. All right, welcome to game 1. Great opening hand. It's definitely a keep. I wish I can draw one of my 2 knights to make this even better. All right. All right, we're going to pass. I don't think I'm going to go Skittering Surveyor next turn. I want to get down Pegasus Courser as early as possible. Okay. Yeah, we can kill that. Well, we can just play Pegasus Scorcher now to block it, and then we can kill it next turn, and then keep up Gideon's Reproach. I don't want to use a Gideon's Reproach on an Academy Drake, of course. This Gideon's Reproach is awesome. I mean, it deals with Sarah Angels. It can deal with a kicked Academy Drake. It's just good. Wizard's Lightning, you say? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'd rather he use it on a Corsair than on an Urgaros. Okay, so my opponent's down to 2 cards. No reason to play Surveyor. Surveyor can't even block the Scholar. So I think I'm just going to pass here and see what my opponent does, and I'll keep up Vicious Offering to take out the Academy Drake. And if my opponent has like a combat trick, okay, good. So I can kill both Skizik and the Drake. That's great. All right, so first Drake. And then Skizik. All right, and take 2. Opponent's down to 1 card, and we're closer to Urgaros, and we're closer to kicking our Sergeant at Arms. And we have green for Wild Onslaught. So let's go find, I guess, another Plains in case we crack our Memorial to Glory and somehow end up not drawing any more lands for the Benelish Marshal. All right, we just pass here. All right. All right. Yeah, it makes sense. Opponent's better off just passing, because then he can keep back the Tolarian Scholar to block the Skittering Surveyor. So let's go to our second main phase and cast Urgaros. So I don't think we need to go on Sarah's Wings on Urgaros. But light gain will help us catch up in this match. I think next turn we just kick Sergeant at Arms and set up for like set up to draw our Wild Onslaught. And if Urgaros gets bounced or killed, then later on we could just yeah. Urgaros is definitely a target for removal. Understandably. All right, so that's fine. So let's just kick the Sergeant at Arms, and the next turn we can put on Sarah's Wing. Or we don't even need to. We're not that far behind. We're taking to a turn. It is a bit annoying. We can kind of just build out our board. Wait to make sure that as much removal as possible, as much bounce as possible, is out of our opponent's hands, in case he wants to do something. There's really no reason for him to use removal on a Sergeant at Arms, but you never know what opponents are thinking. So this is 4, right? Okay, Tetsuko, not worried about that. All right. So he's got open So opponent has open mana for Blink of the Eye. We can actually, now that we drew a Dauntless Bodyguard, we can actually play Dauntless Bodyguard, protect Sergeant at Arms from things like another Wizard's Lightning, or we can't protect it from bounce, but we can actually start swinging for 6 now, and I think I'd rather do that. So let's play Dauntless Bodyguard, protecting Sergeant at Arms. Let's put a Ansar's Wings on the Sergeant at Arms. Start getting in. Okay, so opponent does not have blink of the eye, I think it's called. All right, so even if we can get a couple of hits in with Sergeant at Arms, it buys us enough time to draw to our other win cons, like the Dauntless, like the Wild Onslaught, for example. We could just overrun our opponent. We're going to add 3 more bodies to the board, and it's going to be very difficult for him to catch up. Okay. Again, not too worried about it. We could just chump it with Urgros for 1 turn, and we'll find a way of dealing with it. We have plenty of removal in our deck. All right, let's get in there again. Swing for 6. I shouldn't say that. It's a 6-point life swing, but you guys know what I mean. And let's kick another Sergeant at Arms. Okay. If you text with a 2-headed giant, I would consider blocking with like. Well, first I'm going to jump with Urgros, unless he gets Menace. Okay, so our opponent can deal 2 damage with something. I'm guessing he's going to target the Dauntless Bodyguard. And I will sack it to make Sergeant at Arms indestructible, in which case our opponent is not going to have any attacks this turn. Because I'll be able to block the 2-headed giant with like a Sergeant at Arms and some soldiers or whatever. All right, so let's sack Dauntless Bodyguard. Give Sergeant at Arms indestructible. Okay, our opponent has another Wizard's Lightning. I don't understand why he's using it now on another Sergeant at Arms. That doesn't really make sense, but he's well within his rights to do that if he wants. Personally, I would have saved it for later. All right, so yeah, opponent's trying to race. He could have waited until I set up a double block, and then taken out the other Sergeant at Arms. I think it's a very strange play. Let's just chump with Urgros for now. We're not in a rush to get that off the board. I'd rather keep up bodies to maximize the Benelish Honor Guard, or Benelish Marshal, sorry, and the Wild Onslaught. So we drew a Blessed Light, one of our 3 solid removal spells. Let's get in there again, and then Next turn we can just keep our Blessed Light to deal with the two-headed giant or whatever else. So our opponent cannot attack with a Fire Fist. So I'm guessing he's just going to attack with a Tetsuko and a two-headed giant. Not attacking with Tetsuko, okay? I think I will block with one soldier in case the Blessed Light gets countered. And then after blocks, I'm going to run out Blessed Light. Yeah, because if my opponent's holding like a Syncopate, then I won't be able to pay the mana for it. Okay. All right. So let's get in there again. By the way, one thing about recording videos like this, I think it makes you play better. Half the reason why I'm recording these videos for YouTube, first and foremost, it's to contribute back to the community, because when I was getting back into playing Magic after like God, what was it? I stopped in like 99 and I started again in 2015. So it's like a 16-year break, 17-year break. Yeah, so like I didn't play Magic for almost 18 years, and it was very difficult to get back into it, especially playing online. And it was really thanks to guys like, guys at Seems Good Magic, Channel Fireball, New Mod. I want to give them a shout out and support their channel as well. They really helped me get back into the game. So I want to contribute as best as I can. I mean, I'm not, I'm not a Pro Tour player by any means or anything like that. In fact, I pretty much only play draft. That's my thing. I'm a limited player, but I think it makes me like a much better than average limited player, and my win rate is very good. I often go like 2-1, and I get usually in any draft cycle I'll get between like 10 and 15 trophies. So I feel like I have something to contribute and I want to share. That's the first half of the reason I want to give back to the Magic community. The other reason is it just makes you a better player. It makes you more careful about the plays that you're making, because you have to explain what you're doing and you don't want to look bad on a video. And the thing I'm trying to do with this channel is to post 3-0 videos only to help players understand what type of decks they need to draft to go 3-0. Because personally, those are the videos I prefer to watch. I prefer to watch videos where players go 3-0. All right, let's get in there again. We're not drawing any of our win cons, but that's okay. We have a solid removal spell in hand. We're gaining life. We're dealing damage. We're getting there. So I think after one more hit, we could just overrun our opponent. Let's see. Are we going to have lethal? I think we have lethal next turn, right? Yeah, we do, of course. With one removal spell and 7 additional attackers, we can just overrun our opponent. The only thing we have to worry about is Radiating Lightning, which our opponent could be sandbagging. And it is a card that I main deck in Wizards Red-Blue. Specifically for Adeliz. Adeliz, the Cinder, whatever. Sorry, I apologize. I don't know all the names of these cards. But Adeliz is a card that can do ridiculous amounts of damage out of the blue. All right, our opponent's had enough. Let's go to sideboard. Yeah, this Radiating Lightning And it is something that is one thing that we would need to be concerned about if we do like an all-out attack next turn. Essentially, we would just lose our Skittering Surveyor, but it's not the risk of opponent not having that is not worth it to give our opponent one more turn to find a bounce spell to deal with our flyer. So you know what? One thing I missed is the fact that charge is actually excellent in our deck. I don't know why I missed that during the build phase, but I really want to make room for charge. In fact, I think it's just outright better than an Adamant Will in our deck. It would have won us last game outright, and in fact, what I'm going to do after this match, I'm going to tweak my deck to make sure we have room for a charge. The reason why I missed that is because I usually play this in like green-white or green-black, green-white go wide or green-black Sapperlings. But with 3 Sergeant at Arms, a Memorial to Glory, and in general our aggro theme, this should definitely be in our deck, and it's going to give us more value on average than an Adamant Will. Adamant Will is good because it does protect on Sarah's wings, but I still think we're better off just having it in our deck. How do we make room for an Adamant Will in our deck? What would we have to cut? We would have to cut one of our removal, which doesn't really make sense. Got a Skin Witch. Again, I think we can get to 6 mana, and this is a powerful effect, especially against any blue deck where you have card draw, so you can negate your opponent's card draw with divinations and Weight of Memories by timing a Skin Witch correctly. So I want to keep her in there. Could be wrong, but we'll see. Okay, our opponent's playing first. This is a keep. Baird, of course, is best against wide decks. Like if our opponent's win con is like a Tetsuko with a bunch of 1/1s, then Baird's going to do a really good job of holding those back. I don't think it's as good against the Wizards matchup, to be honest. Okay, let's pass. Okay, War Caller. All right. So we're doing something. We'll go get our forest with the Skittering Surveyor. Our opponent still doesn't know what we're splashing. Okay, now I'm kind of tempted to go get a Plains with our Skittering Surveyor, because then next turn we can definitely cast Baird. And yeah, by the time we kick Sergeant at Arms, those are going to be 2/2s with Benelish Marshall. This could be wrong, but I feel like I'm already behind, and I need to impact my opponent's ability to attack somehow. And Baird coming down next turn is a good way to do that. Yeah, I mean, our deck can win in 2 ways. It can win with like an aggressive start with a Pegasus Courser and one of the 2 Knights. It can also win by dragging out the game with a Sergeant at Arms. Sorry, with a Baird, slowing down our opponent in a scenario like this. Okay, so I'm not taking 2 from that Journey Mage, and now I have something that can block 2 of my opponent's creatures. My opponent missed the land drop, so this Baird is going to be even better now because my opponent um, is missing land drops, and we could play Benelish Marshal next turn, and then a kick Sergeant at Arms to turn after that, and we have a charge to get through like a massive attack, making it difficult for our opponent to block. So we can catch up in this game. So our opponent's probably just going to attack with the Academy Drake, paying 1. And this is another example where Skittering Surveyor is just so good uh, in almost any matchup, in any deck. I've had plenty of weak pack 1 pick ones where I just first pick Skittering Surveyor, windmill slam Skittering Surveyor, if that makes sense. All right, so yeah, let's just go Benalish Marshall here. I don't think we need to use an Eviscerate on the Academy Drake just yet. Unfortunately, we don't have an attack. I don't want to. I guess I could. I guess I could trade my Baird for these 2 if my opponent wants to do that. That's fine by me. It's a 2 for 1. So go ahead and block if you want. I don't think you will though. Yeah, usually you don't. You feel like you're just not getting value if you have to throw 2 creatures in front of your opponent's 4-drop. And even if my opponent had the first strike card, he had one red mana open. So I think it's like a Fervent Strike. That really wouldn't have done anything. Because that'll put this to 4. That's not enough to kill Baird. It would still be like, it would be a 3 for 1 at that point. So it was a clean attack. So again, our opponent's in an awkward position where he has to pay mana every turn to attack. That means he either doesn't have a 4-drop or he prefers to get this 2 damage through. Yeah, so no play from opponent. That is great. All right, so now I actually think we can attack with both Baird and a Skittering Surveyor because we're going to drop Sergeant at Arms. And I'd rather trade this up for a Journey Mage before my opponent finds a way of dealing with a Benelish Marshal. I also have a charge up in case my opponent has some shenanigans. Like, let's say opponent kills Benelish Marshal with a Wizard's Lightning. I can actually cast charge to protect him, so that wouldn't do anything. Okay, I think if my opponent had a Wizard's Lightning, he would have already used it. I have 2 options here. I can either go like either Knight of Malice or Eviscerate on Academy Drake, keeping up a charge to protect Benelish Marshal from a Lightning Strike. But I think I would rather just run out Sergeant at Arms. I think if our opponent had a Lightning Strike, he would have used it already. So let's just kick this. Got a lot of power on board, and then next turn we're setting up for just a sick attack, and we have a removal spell. So as long as Benelish Marshal lives this turn, we can just run our opponent over next turn. I played a lot of poker before I played Magic, so I'm constantly trying to do like, pot equivalent calculations in my head, and I don't remember if our opponent had 1 or 2 Wizard's Lightning. Let's just look through this real quick. Yeah, I think he had 2. I think he cast 1 on Pegasus Courser, And he cast another randomly on a Sergeant at Arms, which I thought was a mistake last turn. Okay, so he can kill one of my 2/2s because he's got 2 wizards. Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine, no problem. So we have 7, so we can go 4, 5, 6, keeping up a charge. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to build out my board. I'm going to keep... Well, let's think about this. So what happens if I attack now? So let's say I eviscerate like a Fire Fist Adept, and then even my little 2/2 can get through. How much damage can I put? What is the... So in other words, I'm trying to figure out the benefit of trying to go for like a... Not quite an Alpha Strike, but you know what I mean right now. I would have 3, 7, 11, 15, 18 power attacking. I think we go for it. I don't think our opponent's tapped out. He doesn't have good blocks. I don't need to be greedy and wait until next turn to attack with Knight of Malice. And in fact, there was really no need for me to play it, but it kind of makes my charge even less obvious. Sometimes players cast cards like out of order on purpose, like on the first main phase versus the second main phase, to make the charge seem less obvious. But our opponent doesn't really have a choice, because if he doesn't block, he takes a ton of damage, and he's just likely to die next turn, because I can overrun him. And if he does block, then the only thing he can really do is like try to double block Benelish Marshall. Okay, I see what he's trying to do. So, yeah, this worked out really well for us. There's no need to do that, but just to be consistent. So yeah, this is like a complete blow up. So our opponent loses the board. We keep all of our creatures, and yeah. All right, on to round 2. And actually, before we go to game 2, let's not forget to edit our deck, take out an Adamant Well, and put in a charge. Save our deck. And this is, on the one hand, I kind of miss the old style draft format that used to take much longer, but you played against the people in your draft pod. And it sucked because, yeah, you had to wait until the games were over to play. But in that setup, you could not edit your deck in between rounds. And I think the last time it happened was like, I don't remember, I think maybe around the Kaladesh cycle, between Innistrad and Kaladesh that started. But this is something that you should really take advantage of. Anytime you feel like you can improve your deck after a game, you should just always review what you have to see if you're missing something or if something could have worked better. Some things like I think, okay, to be safe, I think not putting a charge in during the first build, that was just a sloppy mistake by me. But some things are not as subtle. Some things are very subtle. They're not as obvious as that change, and it's really good to just, like I said, in between games, not only during sideboarding, to go back and see what else you can do to improve your deck. I played with Krepus before. Let me see how many trophies he has. Krepus. Okay, none. The reason why I check how many trophies people have is if you're playing against someone, if you're lucky to play against someone who's got like 30 trophies, right? That's really valuable information for you. You could take a look and see what their deck build looks like. I often take print screens not only of my drafts, I take print screens of just the deck builds that good opponents select. So In case I draw my Benelish Marshal, I guess I'll play another Plains. No, I think I'm better. Actually, I think I'm better off keeping up a Vicious Offering to deal with my opponent's 3-drop next turn. Yeah, because I was on the draw. My opponent's on the play, so I'd rather have access to like cheap removal to kill whatever he's playing. Yep, unfortunately can't kill a Pegasus Courser. Not with a Vicious Offering. I can get him with a Blessed Light. And we drew the Benelish Marshal. But you know what? Actually, he's not really good by himself. He's better when you bring him down after you have a board built out. So it's not like one of those Steel Leaf Champion situations where you want to get it down as early as possible. I think I am going to play Sergeant at Arms. I don't need to. I have another one in my deck. I don't need to. Sorry, I have another one in my hand and another one in my deck. I need to do something with my mana. I don't want to fall behind. Another Pegasus Courser. Okay, that's a bit of an awkward draw. I'm still going to run him out because by the time I can drop Benelish Marshal, they're going to be 3-4 attackers, and that will help us catch up here. No need to attack. I guess I had a free roll attack. I could have done it. Maybe my opponent wouldn't have blocked, but I don't think so. Journey Mage, no. Okay, Even Sentry. All right, so that's a target for Vicious Offering. And I could play a Dalton's Bodyguard. Okay, I think what I'll do is I will attack with both. So in case my opponent has charge and he decides to like block with an Even Sentry and cast charge, I can 2-for-1 my opponent with a Vicious Offering. But now I'm just going to play a Dauntless Bodyguard, protecting it. Either one of these, it doesn't matter. The one that has damage on it, but it really doesn't matter. Then I'm going to pass, keeping open a Vicious Offering in case my opponent decides to enchant Even Sentry. I am a bit mana screwed, but it's not the end of the world. This deck can catch up. I mean, we have a Blessed Light in our hand. We have a Benelish Marshal. Oh, are we going to get counterspelled? Okay. All right. I mean, it's like a 1-for-1 and I take 5 damage. It's not good. But whatever. My opponent's down to 2 cards and he didn't have any other place. And now I can cast my Benelish Marshal and I can actually attack with everything. No Syncopate. No Syncopate. Yes. All right. Opponent may double block the... Yeah, that's fine. I will trade a 1-drop for a 3-drop. And get in some damage in the process. Actually, oh boy. I think I'm just going to Blessed Light that. So... All right, I think the plan is this. So I attack with the 2 Sergeant at Arms. I don't think my opponent's going to block at all because he's trying to set up. Ah, okay. That's not the double block I was expecting. I am happy trading a 3-drop for a 4-drop. That's perfectly fine. And dealing 3 damage. And I'm just going to exile this History of Benali now. I need to get that off the board. So it's kind of a 2-for-1, but it's not because History of Benali is just a good card, and it had 2 more triggers. It would have given my opponent 1 more knight and a clean attack that... okay, this is not a knight, he's a soldier. But it would have been awkward for me. No attacks. I feel like my opponent could have... This thing has vigilance, so I think like he could have attacked. I really do. So he missed getting in 3 points of damage. That's weird. I don't know. Maybe it's the right play. All right, so I can kick Sergeant at Arms. I don't have any attacks because, first of all, I mean, the Sergeant at Arms is just going to get blocked by the Baird, and I don't want to pay 1 mana. So I'm just going to try to go as wide as possible. So I'm going to cast Sergeant at Arms. Next turn, I'll crack Memorial to Glory if I don't get anything else. And hoping to draw like Skittering Servant, Skittering Surveyor to get our green mana to set up for a Wild Onslaught. Another Swamp. We have plenty of good draws. The only bad draw is like another Plains. That would not be good. Now he's attacking. All right, so it tells me he's I mean, most likely he's got some sort of play this turn. So I take 3. Cannot block. Current's Temporal Sundering. I called it. I'm not excited. I'm not happy to see it because I'm going to be behind now, but that was just intuition from playing a ton of drafts. He didn't even have the first game. That's just straight intuition there. All right, wait a memory. So we're a little bit behind now because we don't really have good attacks with that no attacks. All right. So yeah, let's go Urgros. He's going to be a 5/4, putting our opponent on a 2-turn clock, and now our opponent does not have any attacks. If our opponent does attack, I'm not going to block. I'm not going to risk a 2-turn engine running into like an Adamant Will or some other combat trick. Actually, no, Adamant Will doesn't kill him because it's only +2/+2. So, okay, not worried about any of that. So what got milled? Icy Manipulator, on Sarah's Wings, top 4, top 3. Yeah, so, okay, some good guards got milled, but it's not the end of the world. All right, let's get into Withergross. Hopefully avoiding a blink of an eye. Ah, I have to pay 1. Attack, pay 1. Yes. Blink of an eye. Oh no, Gideon's Reproach. That makes me sad. All right, let's make some more 2/2s so we don't feel as sad. There was no need to do it now. I needed some sort of immediate good feelings after having my Urgros killed by Gideon's Reproach. So yeah. So I made 2/2s immediately. So what are we drawing to? We're drawing to Skittering Surveyor or like a forest. In fact, if we get a forest, we can kick this next turn. Maybe I should play 2 forests in this deck. Okay, Coldwater Snapper. That's a bit of a problem. So Pegasus Courser, it my opponent can still, well, no, now he's just gonna start getting Coldwater Snapper over the top. So I'm on a 3-turn clock. I need to find some way to get through here, and it's becoming increasingly more difficult, unfortunately. Why is he not attacking with the Coldwater Snapper? That's strange. I think he's all right. That's fine. So I will block Bear taking 1. Yeah, I mean, especially if he's got a kicked Drake, there's really no reason not to attack with the Coldwater Snapper that turn. At least none that I can see. So now, well, I guess there's a reason because now he can go over the top of the Coldwater Snapper, and now I have to chump. Yeah, I think this game just ran away from us, unfortunately, guys. We're gonna go to game 3, and we need a faster start to deal with whatever our opponent's trying to do. One time I lost a game to Voltaic Servant and a Pegasus Courser with 2+1/+1 swords, making this a 3/5 flyer that untapped after attacking. Yeah, I died to that very quick. All right, let's just go for kamikaze attack. Maybe my opponent misclicks, doesn't block. We can get in there with charge. Let's see. Can we get through 3 unblocked attackers? Ah, yes, I need to pay. Maybe opponent makes a mistake. We'll see. He's got 4 blockers, so I don't think so, but you never know. Okay. And All right. Interesting. Why would you move Knight of New Benalia to Sergeant at Arms? Do you have a charge of your own? That just seems strange. Well, we're not winning, but we took like a minute off the opponent's clock. So if somehow next game goes the distance, then we have a slight incremental advantage that's probably not going to do anything. But hey, it's all about them edges, right? So what looks good in this deck? He's got some X1, so maybe a Sarah Disciple could be good to stop a Knight of New Benalia. Now, with 2 Pegasus Courser, this is just going to be useless. Do we have a way of dealing with Turtle? We don't, because we don't have a haphazard bombardment. That's the only thing that can kill Turtle at a whatever 25% chance a turn. Let's just run it back. Let's see how the games turned out to see if we can sideboard anything. Sentry. So our opponent did play Adamant Will to protect Sentry. We need to keep that in mind. It does have a history of Benalia, but we don't have any more enchantment hate. In fact, we don't have any enchantment hate, which is, except these Blessed Lights, which is disappointing. Yeah, I think we just run it back. I don't think we can do much else. Karn's Temporal Sundering also got us. So if we have a chance to fire off a Blessed Light on his only legendary creature from what I saw, which is the Baird, we need to do that, because then we can count it 2-for-1 him. All right, we got all our colors. We have On Sarah's Wings. Let's keep. Again, I'm hoping to draw one of our 2 knights. Ask and ye shall receive. Unfortunately, I don't have any black permanents to make this 3-2 first strike, but that's okay. No turn 2 play from our opponent, so let's get in there. And play Pegasus Courser. So at some point, if we want to put a On Sarah's Wings on our knight, Gideon's Approach. Okay. Never mind about putting On Sarah's Wings on a Knight of Grace. That's not going to happen. Okay. I'm really not happy. So do I want to trade like a charge for a Knight of New Benalia? I think the answer is no, because our opponent can have Adamant Will. So I think I'm just going to attack. It's unfortunate that we're missing land drops. Let's play another Pegasus Courser, and then I will trade with a Knight of New Benalia. I guess the other thing to consider is like I could draw land next turn, put On Sarah's Wings in the Pegasus Courser, swing for 4, and then keep it back. But that just doesn't seem good. My opponent's getting ahead on mana. I would just rather offer this trade. All right, no play for my opponent. Found our 4th land. Not casting on Sarah's Wings. I think we need to be very patient with that card. Wait until our opponent is out of cards in hand, until he's down to like 2 or 1 cards. And even if we're taking a beating from whatever he's playing, okay, like a 3/3, for example, even if we're taking a beating from a 3/3, is this a mythic? I think it's a mythic. On Sarah's Wings is the type of card that can help us come back if we can find the right target for it. Okay, again, I'm not gonna rush myself. If I need to next turn, I can crack Memorial to Glory. I'm gonna be down the land, which is a bummer, but then I can at least trade with the Nahu. Mara. Okay, our opponent did not do anything on turn 5. So that's good. Taking another 3. So that's another legendary creature that's going to let our opponent go Temporal Sundering, which is I'm guessing what he has here. That's unfortunate. We're going to take a beating, but it's not the end of the world. I called it twice in a row, by the way. Second time was a bit easier, I'll admit, right? I mean, you kind of see it coming. There's a legendary creature. I got nothing on the board. Pretty, it's not difficult to see it coming, is what I'm trying to say. All right, Joyra. I think I'm gonna Blessed Light Joyra. She's more of a threat right now. Yeah, I don't. That's what I don't want my opponent doing. So I take 4. I wish I could have a swamp. I think I'm just gonna go Blessed Light on Joyra now. It's pretty clear I have it. I'm telegraphing it because otherwise, why wouldn't I play Pegasus Courser? So there's no reason to sandbag it running into like a Syncopate or some counterspell. Man, I'm just getting beat up. We're very close to dying. I need to... Alright, I think now I don't have a choice. I need to go Pegasus Courser with On Sarah's Wings. That way I can at least block Nahumera, and then I'm only taking 4. And then if I get a swamp, I could double block the turtle. Oh, he's attacking with everything. That's not good. All right, so that tells me he has Adamant Will. Actually, no, because he may just be trying to get through as much damage as possible. Yeah, or he could have Gideon's Reproach. God, he's got another Gideon's Reproach. All right, well, that was fun. Now we're just dead, right? Yeah, we're not winning this game. I can make 2/2/2s, pump them to 4/4. I could kill Nahumera, but I'm just dying from Cold Water Snapper, so only thing I could do right now is just chump chump. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I can't even say that like opponent's deck is super good. Syncopate. All right, let's go on to the next. Let's go on to the last game. And let's hope Krepus gets his first trophy. Let's cheer for Krepus. Yeah, that would be the first one for it. All right. Running out of planes in case I hit my Benalish Marshal next turn. Let's pass. All right. 2 Pegasus Coursers. So a mirror match. All right, that's good. That thing cannot block. And we're an aggressive deck, so that's good for us. I'm going to run out another Pegasus Courser. I have 1 land in hand. I'm likely to draw one in the next 2 turns, and then I could kick Sergeant at Arms, and I could use an Eviscerate on whatever blocker they play, and continue dealing 4 damage a turn. So, seems good. I will not use Eviscerate on that, though, because I could care less. Dredge Sentinel is just awful. I'd rather keep open a Blessed Light to deal with whatever they play. Or I don't want to crack a Memorial to Glory just yet. I need it for Sergeant at Arms. They both trigger. Okay. So Dauntless Bodyguard has double flying. All right. That's a risky play into 5 open mana. Not something I would recommend. All right, so let's go to game 2. Our opponent does not feel like continuing. Yeah, no sideboard plan really. Let's just run it back. So Icy Manipulator just became much better, given that our opponent has a dub. Icy Manipulator is just bonkers in general, and just recapping our picks in retrospect, it was absolutely correct to go 3 Sergeant at Arms instead of a Cabal Paladin with a Banalish Marshal and a charge. So that's one late change during the building step that I'm very happy about. What else could we have done? I think one option is we could have considered running like 1 or less land in this deck. We top out at 6 and we have a Skittering Surveyor. So maybe we could have made room for like an Adamant Will with 16 lands, given that we top out at 6. But I think the reason not to do that is to increase the probability of us drawing to the Benalish Marshal on time. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that. I'm curious about your opinion. Should we have gone to 16 lands? Yeah, no, I think we're gonna bottom that. At the end of the day, it's still land. It's It's a value land, but it's slow. Not good enough to keep on top. We want to draw to our like Pegasus Coursers to get Dauntless Bodyguard over the top. Continue dealing damage. All right. Whatever. I'll offer the trade. Okay. Ooh, that's something that yeah, we're gonna have to deal with that sooner or later. I mean, we have an icy manipulator. I'm not worried about it. But this is something. This is one way for us to lose for sure. Very strong card. Yeah, unfortunately, I missed 2-drop and 3-drop. And our opponent's keeping busy. Okay, so candle, and that's it. All right, that's not too bad. Let's get in there again. Yeah, I'm kind of bummed out about losing last game. You know, the more I think about our deck, like it's a good deck. Icy Manipulator, 3 Blessed Lights. You know, if we found ways of dealing with that Pegasus Courser, last game our opponent wouldn't have been able to fly over top. But that's just sometimes that's the way it goes. What are you going to do? So this might be like opponent-assisted win. So with the Blessed Light, so let's see. So he's going to cut his life in half, and then I can just exile the creature. That seems good. Okay. Yeah, Chainer's Torment is just an excellent way to lose. With with three Blessed Lights, I would even consider letting my opponent cast that for no mana. Like you could cast it for 0 mana. You could cast it for free if you so choose. All right, let's get in there and kick a Sergeant at Arms. Dauntless Bodyguard is doing work. I understand now why opponent didn't want to trade for the Cabal Evangel, because he's thinking if I have a Chainer's Torment, I'm gonna gain life, and then I'm gonna be ahead on the race. But opponent does not know I have a Blessed Light in hand. And 2 more in my deck. Okay, that's fine. It's not going to be it's going to be a problem if he starts equipping Blackblade. He's 2 lands away from doing that. But yeah. All right, so I think I'm going to just eviscerate this rather than using my Blessed Lighting. I'd rather keep up instant speed removal. So I'm guessing now my opponent's going to trade and just take 2. Okay, that's very aggressive. Not sure what opponent is thinking, but Unless he has another creature, he's just dead next turn. Yeah. I think there was absolutely no reason not to block Dauntless Bodyguard in that situation. Oh boy. All right. Well, all right, guys. That was I guess too easy. All right, let's see if we can do better next time. See you guys second video.